Alright, hey guys. I always say this, it's been a while since I filmed the video, but I do actually have an excuse this time. Well, not much of an excuse. But, unfortunately, had some crazy stuff happen with Lola, which she's behind me. And a lot happened the past few days, so I thought I'd film a video, give an update. Since the last video, we were talking about her lameness. Now we're going to talk about everything else. And I'll give an update and just show you our new routine, since it's about 180 completely different. So that'll be the video. We're going to talk for a little bit about Lola, and then we're going to go make her grain and stuff, because she's pretty complicated now, of course. Okay, so today is Tuesday, March 24th. So I know it's been like freaking a year since last time I uploaded a video. Not really, but it's been a while. So this whole story will start from Friday, which I don't know the date, a couple days ago, the last Friday. So basically, I didn't have school, so I came out in the morning, I worked her, and everything was fine. And I left early afternoon, went home, and I was gonna go hang out with some friends, so I was driving on my way to go do that, and I got a call from the lady who I board with, and she called me and said that Lola was colicking pretty bad, and that she thinks a vet needs to come out. So I told her to just go ahead and call the vet, and that I'd be there as soon as I can. So I literally was pulling into where I was going to hang out with my friends, and I had to just turn around. We had just started her on new grain that Monday, and so she just got her grain, and like 10 minutes after she started colicking, and the lady noticed that she didn't eat any of her grain. So I was driving home, and she called me a couple minutes later, and she said that it wasn't colic, it was actually pretty severe choke. And she was showing a lot of, well, we didn't know if it wasn't colic, it was a severe choke, and she was showing a lot of colic symptoms. So we didn't really know what was going on, but we knew she was choking at least. So the vet was coming out, but the vet was in Chagrin, which is a while. It's like an hour away from me. So it was gonna take a while for the vet to get out. So I had to run home and change, because I was wearing stuff that I did not want to get barn all over, and I knew that it was gonna take a while for the vet to come out anyway. So I mean, I didn't want to have to go home, I just wanted to go straight there, but I knew that it'd be better if I just ran home and changed, because I was also wearing a t-shirt and shorts, because it was nice that day, but I didn't know how long I'd be here. And so I ran home, and my mom wanted to drive me out here because she didn't want me driving while I was upset about my horse, obviously. Oh, here she comes. And so I got out here about 30 minutes after she called me, because I was already 20 minutes in the opposite direction from my house, and then I had to go another 20 minutes to go that way. So it was probably a little more than 30 minutes, but. And so I got here about like 5 minutes before the vet did, and she was choking pretty bad. And so I was just walking her around the barn waiting for the vet to make sure that even if she was colicking, just to keep her moving, since she was showing a lot of colic symptoms. And the vet got here and pretty much immediately started the de-choke procedure, which, if you guys don't know how that goes, hi, you enjoying the video? I'm talking about you. Basically, since horses can't gag or vomit, the stuff gets stuck in their throat, and then they just keep trying to swallow to get it down, but it can't come back up. So when they de-choke them, they take a long, flexible plastic tube, and they put it in their nose all the way down their throat into their stomach, and they just push out whatever's in their throat into their stomach. So that's what we did. And it went in pretty good. It only took a couple minutes, and she was all good. And she had a bloody nose, which is pretty common when they take the tube out. Normally they get a bloody nose, so she was all good. Then we had to wait, obviously, for her nose to stop bleeding, but we thought everything was good. And she was sedated, obviously, but she was acting all fine, and we thought everything was good. So we put her in a stall. The vet left after, we talked about aftercare, and after her nose was done bleeding, the vet left, and I was doing a couple things just around before I left. Like, I was cleaning up all her massive blood mess, and getting her stall ready, and just making sure everything was good with her, and then I was gonna leave. But luckily I didn't, because about an hour and a half after the vet left, she started showing colic signs again. She was super in distress, like she was trying to roll, she was pawing at the ground, she just totally wasn't herself. So we called the vet back, and I was like, hey, she's doing all this, that's not normal, right? Like, something's wrong. And she's like, yeah, something's definitely wrong, that's completely not normal, but I have no idea what it could be, because I know for a fact that she was de-choked, there was nothing going on. Like, I know that she was all good. And so they were like, I will come back out, but I just got home, like it's gonna take another hour. So she started on her way, and then about 20 minutes after she told me that she was on her way, she called me again and told me that another vet was gonna come because she was much closer and they work together. So she was just gonna, sorry, I don't know why I'm playing with sticks, but she was gonna come and check on her while she was still on her way, just in case it was something super severe that had to be taken care of, like, immediately. So the other vet got here, and we put a tube in her nose again to make sure that she wasn't, like, to make sure that it was all clear all the way down to her stomach, which it was. The tube went right in. And but instead of nothing coming out of the tube like it's supposed to, because they pump water into the tube to, like, get it down their throat and everything, like, food matter from her stomach started coming out the tube, which it's 100% not supposed to do. Like, once the food gets there, it should be, like, digested pretty quickly, and it should not come back up from a tube in their nose. So the vet was like, well, since this is happening, like, we're mainly concerned that she has a stomach impaction and that nothing is moving through correctly, and that would be, like, why she's showing colic signs. So they basically told me, like, you can keep her home, like, right now, like, she might be able to work it out herself, but if she gets any more symptoms or anything gets any worse, she pretty much has to go to OSU. So we waited around. I went home about 3 a.m. Friday, I guess Saturday morning, and they gave me some medication to give her for the next couple days. And I came out Saturday morning. She was all good. I gave her her meds. Everything was great. She was eating. She wasn't eating a ton, but I mean, she just had choke, so I wasn't super concerned that she wasn't totally interested in eating. So we kind of just had a chill. She chilled out. She was staying in her stall, and everything was fine. I took her on a little bit of a walk. She was all good. And then I went home for a little bit around, I don't know, 1 o'clock. I ate some lunch and I took a nap because I was exhausted, obviously. And then I came out again to do her evening meds and just to make sure that she was all good. And I was just spending some time with her. Took her on another walk just to get her out of her stall. I gave her her food. Everything was good. And then about 8 p.m. Saturday night, I had her out in the aisle. I was just grooming her just to spend some time with her. And she started, like, it was like a switch flipped, like, immediately out of nowhere started showing awful signs. She was kicking at her stomach, she was pawing, she was trying to lay down, she was biting at herself, and, like, so we're like, this is really bad. So I called the lady that I board with, and she came down and she called the vet for me while I walked her around because I didn't know if she was colicking or what, so I just kept walking her just in case. And the vet was like, I mean, I can come down to look at her, but I really don't think there's anything I can do. I think she needs to go to OSU. So then I called my trainer because the lady I board with, she has a trailer, but it's not big enough for Lola because she's too long. So I called my trainer because she told me earlier in the day that if anything changed, call her immediately and that she'll take her down to OSU. So I called her, and she is about hour 15 minutes-ish from here. So she went out immediately, hooked up the trailer, and her daughter, which I'm pretty good friends with, came down immediately. So we kept walking a little bit. I wasn't too worried about walking her because they were pretty sure it's a stomach impaction and not colic. So they said just try and keep her comfortable. So whenever she wanted to walk around, I just walked with her, but other than that, we kind of just sat there. Another symptom she had is usually when she goes to pee, she'll, like, park out and stretch out. She was doing that, but she wasn't peeing at all. She was just stretching. So they thought that she was just trying to stretch out the pain or whatever. So my trainer got here, I don't remember what time, maybe 10 o'clock-ish. And then we turned right around and went back to OSU, which is in the direction she came from. It took about 2 hours to get there. So it was like midnight when we got there, midnight, 1 o'clock-ish. And they took her back immediately. And so we were just waiting in the waiting room. I think we waited maybe an hour. I'm not 100% sure about the exact times, but I know it was probably about an hour that we waited. And they came back and they said that they did an ultrasound and they scoped her and stuff, and that she didn't have stomach impaction, luckily. But she did have grade 3 gastric ulcers, which are pretty severe ulcers. And her colon, sorry, I keep feeling like I'm hearing the door to the house, and I don't want to be filming when anyone comes out here. Anyways, they said that her colon and her small intestine was up by her, like, behind her spleen, like, which obviously they're not supposed to be there, and they were pushing her spleen out of place. So that's not good either. That's probably what was causing the most pain, and the ulcers were probably flaring up because she was super stressed about her choke. So they said that they wanted to keep her overnight to monitor her colon and small intestine because they were pretty sure that it would go back on its own. They just wanted to obviously, like, make sure it did. And so she stayed overnight. We got home around 3 o'clock, and I ended up just staying at my trainer's house because she lives right in between OSU and where I board. So it would make no sense for her to bring me all the way back here and then go all the way back home and then have to get me again to go pick her up. so I just stayed at her house that night, and we got to bed around 4, and then I woke up around 8, and around 9, OSU called, and they told me that she did great overnight. She was in super great mood. She had no more symptoms. Her colon and small intestine had gone back to where they were supposed to be. They were a little inflamed, but she said that was probably normal and that there's nothing to worry about, and that she can come home today. And we had to start slowly refeeding her food because she had been pretty much without food for a day and a half, 2 days at this point. So, or she had food, just very limited food because she wasn't eating very much. So we had to slowly start refeeding her and give her a bunch of medications, obviously. So then at like 11 o'clock, we went down to pick her up, and we got home around probably 3-ish, 3-ish o'clock. We got here at least. And she's been great so far. We discovered that she really does not like medication squirted into her mouth. So I've come up with some fun ways to get her to eat it, which you'll see later in the video. But that's pretty much the whole story. Luckily, she seems all good now. She's been here for 2.5, 3 days at this point, and she's been great. She has to stay in this little paddock because she's not supposed to have that much hay yet, or grass. And where she used to be, there's like free choice hay or whatever. So right now she's gathering up all the little tiny bits from what I just fed her. So that's what she's doing. So yeah, it's gonna be a long month of medication, but she's all good. And luckily now we know that she has ulcers, and we can treat her for those, and hopefully she will become a totally different horse at shows. Which I do, like, I'm not glad this happened. Obviously, it's very stressful and a very long weekend, and I'm so tired. I literally don't even know how I'm functioning. But I am glad that now we know that she has ulcers, and then we can treat her for those. Because previously we had not even really thought of that as an option. We just thought that she had pretty high anxiety, which, looking back now, obviously I feel like we probably could have done more to make sure it was just anxiety. But just because of the fact that it was so inconsistent, and it was only really when we were at shows or going somewhere new that she would act up, so we didn't really think that was an option. But I don't know what she just did, but she scared me. So we didn't really think it was an option, but looking back, I kind of wish that we had looked into some more reasons. I don't know. Anyways, that's my whole rant. Sorry, that was kind of a long talk, but it's kind of a long story, and I feel like all those details are important for the story. So now we're gonna go, and I'm gonna make her grain for tonight, and then I have to make the medications for her grain tomorrow, because luckily the lady I board with is amazing, and she is feeding her grain and meds in the morning, so I don't have to come before school, because that would be really difficult, and that would be a lot of driving and a lot of gas, and with how expensive gas is right now, I do not want to have to do that. So luckily she's taking care of that for me. So I just have to prepare it all so that she can just give it to her in the morning. It's nice and easy for her. So we'll go do that now. So right now she's getting 2 portions of grain morning and night. Obviously not a whole scoop, but she has to get morning meds and night meds, and I'm just putting the meds in her grain, and for right now she's eating it. Luckily, fingers crossed that she keeps doing that. So she gets a little less than a half a scoop, and she gets 2 of those. There's buckets down there. That's where I'm putting it. And then we soak it, because since for choke episode, we don't want her to have like that much food. So I'm gonna go soak it, because it'll take me like 2 seconds, and then I'll come back and show you her meds. I just went and soaked her grain. Now she's going to get, this is her first medication. It's called sucralfate. It is for ulcers. It's for ulcers, and it basically puts like a coating in the stomach to help them. I don't know. She gets 10 tablets morning and night, and these I just crush, and then I put the powder in her grain, and she eats just fine. So I'm just using a box cutter to crush these. So yeah. I picked the worst paper plate because the edges are so big. This is so hard. I finished crushing this. It's pretty much a powder. And so now she gets this either an hour before or after the other feeds, because since it like coats the stomach, it makes the other medicines not as effective. So it gets given an hour apart. So I'm gonna go feed this to her now, and then when we wait for an hour to pass, which is not gonna be exactly an hour because I don't have enough time. When we wait for an hour to pass, I'm gonna make the rest of her meds for tonight and then her meds for tomorrow morning. Okay, now the next things she gets are these. I'm not even gonna try and say this. They're just called SMZs. That's, at least they're whatever. It's an antibiotic for if she gets aspiration pneumonia from her choke. So then she gets 12 of these twice a day. And these ones apparently taste really bad. Hold on a second, I miscounted, I think. Perfect. Great. First try. And now these dissolve really easily. So when I'm giving it to her, I'm just gonna squirt this in her. Oh, would you please? I'm just gonna squirt this in her feed, but I'm gonna dissolve them in here because it's easier to. So I just go like this, and then I suck up some of the extra water that's in her grain mash, which there's not very much right now. And now I have a nice, delicious diarrhea syringe. So I'm gonna shake this. And they almost immediately start to dissolve. But I'm not gonna squirt this in here yet because this morning she was given her feed that I put the meds in the night before and she didn't want to eat it. So we think that because I put it in the night before, it made all the grain taste like the meds, because apparently SMZs taste really bad. So I'm gonna mix this up and then I'm going to leave it in the syringe until I'm ready to give it to her, because I want to make sure that she actually eats it. Except I need more water. Now they're nice and dissolved. So now I just have to make sure that this doesn't spill everywhere. I should have just waited until I was ready to give this to her, but I wanted to do it for the video. And that is all she will get tonight. Now tomorrow, she gets the same amount of grain, and she gets the sucralfates and the SMZs, and then she also gets a GastroGuard, which I have just been squirting in her feed and she's been eating it. So I'm gonna get those all ready for that. And then I'm just gonna crush these again. You don't have to watch me doing that, but I will show you how I label them and stuff after, if that's interesting. I don't know. Okay. So for her first med that's crushed, I crushed it up and I put it in this little guy, and it says Lola med number 1, and it's just in this little container, and so then they can just dump it in the food. And now for her second one, this kind of scares me because I hope that these don't leak. And there's not very much room in here. But this is the second one that's supposed to dissolve. Okay, I made quite the mess. But now I know that you can't fit all 12 in one cup, which is probably common sense. But clearly I lack that. So instead I just put half of the paste in one cup, and then I mixed it up into, put some more liquid in there to mix it up. Now I just gotta light this up. Which I could leave it a paste if I was like squirting it into her mouth in a tube, in a syringe, but when it goes in her feed, I want it to be as liquidy as possible, so it kind of just mixes in as good as possible, so that I can make sure that she's getting it all. So these two are the antibiotics. She's getting both of those at the same time, and she's also getting a tube of GastroGuard with these in her feed. So, oops, have some pill on my finger. This is like my drug house now. And these things are so hard to open. No! Okay, here's my garbage pile. And so she gets a whole tube of GastroGuard, which is cinnamon flavored. Did not know that. But I've also never had to give GastroGuard. So we're gonna slide it all the way down to the bottom so that they know, hey, she gets the whole thing. I feel like that should go all the way down, but it doesn't. It kind of is weird. Anyways, I thought this would fit in a little plastic baggie. Clearly, it's not going to. So, I'm going to put these guys in the plastic baggie. That's a bird. I thought it was a raccoon the other day because it sounds a lot like a raccoon, especially when they're like scratching around up in the roof. It's just a bird. Okay, and I'm gonna write on here that she gets both of these and a full tube of GastroGuard. Okay, both cups plus full tube of GastroGuard. Now we have all of tomorrow morning's meds set up, and she only gets GastroGuard once a day. So then I'm just gonna go put these on the feed cart, and then hello. It's only been 20 minutes, so I'm gonna go find something to do while I wait for it to be time to give Lola her next bed. Okay, I used my time to give Lola a nice clean bed, and now we're gonna go and pick up sticks around the grass areas because I asked if there was anything I could do to help, obviously because she's doing so much for me, and she just asked if I could pick up sticks. So I got like 20 minutes before her next feed, so we're gonna go around and we're gonna pick up sticks. I don't think I'm gonna record any of that because it'd be pretty annoying to record, but that's what I'm gonna go do. Okay, I just finished picking up a good pile of sticks, so now it's time for Lola to get her next grain. So I'm just putting this syringe of beautiful liquid into there and then gonna give it to her and hopefully she'll eat it. And then we have to make her hay for the night because she's getting like measured out and soaked hay, and her grain for tomorrow morning. Okay, I just soaked Lola's hay. I didn't really film it because the lady I board with is down there doing stuff, and also it's not that interesting. Like, I put a flake and a half of hay in two buckets. One gets a flake and a half and the other one gets a flake and a half, and I put some water on it and then it's all good. So that's it. That's what she's getting for hay. She gets one at midnight one at midnight and one at 6 because one of the other horses here, one of the person's horses that I work with or that I board with, she gets medicine every 6 hours. So when she's doing her medicine, she just puts hay in for Lola. So she gets up to a flake and a half now each time. And now I'm just soaking her grain, and then that's pretty much it. Anyways, I guess that's it, actually. That's really all that I do. And this grain is just going to go sit outside her stall with her medicine, so they can just put it in and then give it to her. And that's pretty much it. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the update. I know it's a lot. It's kind of crazy, but I'm glad that everything is okay for now. And that's kind of what the next month is going to be like, because she gets both ulcer medications for 25 more days. So that'll be a lot of fun, but luckily she's eating it in her grain so far, so we're having no problems with that. Anyways, thank you for watching, and stay tuned. Hopefully there will be another video soon. I'm sure I will start maybe a little series about her, just rehabbing her, getting her back into work, since she was totally out of work for her lameness, and now this. She can't be in work for another week. So that's the update. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more.